told you about the Hollywood 16, but I forgot to continue and finish my thought. Because the biggest rail I ever tried was in Madison, Wisconsin, and this was a 21 stair rail. This was in 2007, and I was visiting my brother in Madison, Wisconsin with my parents and my grandma. And I'd never been to Madison before. We were in downtown Madison having lunch, and I brought my board with me, of course. I'm young and excited about skating, and after we ate lunch, my family was still hanging out. I'm like, I'm gonna go cruise around and try to find some skate spots. And so there's all these like cool little spots that I'm finding. I'm like, oh man, it'd be cool to come back here with a filmer and try to do this and that. And there was this 21 stair, and this was just a straight up like no tricks about it, just straight up 21 stair with a big old handrail on it, steep, large handrail. But at that time, I was so hungry for handrails. I loved handrails. And like when I would see a big rail, there was like something that would rise up in me where it was like, I just want to jump on it. You know, I don't have that feeling so much anymore.
I don't have it at all. Do you think that was videos?
Maybe.
Yeah. Because I think what Misled Youth did to you, like that's what that feeling is.
Yes.
It goes into you and it stays there and then it comes out when you see the spot. I had that with wanting to jump off stuff. You know, I'm like, it has to be done. You know?
And I definitely had that. And when I rolled up on this 21 stair rail, I was like, man, I think if I had a filmer here, I think I would try this thing. And I went about and kept skating. And then when I was heading back to go see my family, I see the 21 stair again, and there's some skaters up there skating around. And I was like, oh, skaters. So I went over there, and I'm walking up the stairs to see the skaters, and I look up, and I'm looking Jamie Thomas in the face. It was Jamie Thomas, Chris Cole, and a bunch of others on the crew. They were on the Black and White tour, I think, some skate tour they were doing. And I'm coming from Michigan. I'd never met a pro skater in my life. So to see Jamie Thomas and Chris Cole in the flesh, my brain melted. I had no idea what was happening. I was in a dreamland. And dude, I was like, oh, hi, Jamie Thomas. And he was like, hey, man. He was like super cool. So I ended up going skating all over the city with the Zero team. And the Mystery Zero, I don't remember what team it was. Mystery and something else. Zero and Mystery together skating all over. So I'm skating all over the city with these guys. And at one point, they were going to get in the van to go to the next spot. And Jamie's like, oh, is there enough room in the van for this random guy? And they were like, oh, there's not room. He's like, oh, okay, go ahead. I'll skate. I'll stay and I'll skate there with him. Jamie Thomas stayed back out of the van just so that I wouldn't be alone and skated to the next spot with me.
It's a boss maneuver.
Dude, it was a boss maneuver. And like for me at that time, it was absolutely life-changing. And I actually got to witness him do a couple of clips that he had in I forget which video, one of the mystery videos, Black and, was there a video called Black and White? Or yeah, Black and White maybe. And so anyway, when we were at one of the spots, I was like, dude, I was looking at that 21 stair rail, and I was like, I feel like I want to hit it. And he's like, you know, he doesn't think I'm serious, and we ended up skating back that way. And I'm like, dude, I think I want to try this. And he's like, well, we're here for you. And I'm like, all right, cool. So he basically makes the guys like set up to film it, and I think any of the guys on that team were like, this guy's not going to try this rail. But they set up the lights, they set up the cameras, they had everything all, I felt like a pro skater, you know, for the first time ever, and I was tripping. And I decided I wanted to feeble it. And so I walked right up that. They're like, yeah, we're good to go. And I just skated right up to it and just tried to feeble it. Got on, grinded about halfway, jumped off my board to the bottom of the stairs. When I hit the ground, it sent shockwaves through my body. It felt like I hit my head, even though I only landed on my feet.
Whoa.
I was like seeing stars, and I was like, holy crap, I'd never jumped down anything that big ever. And I was like, I better get back up there before I start feeling my body feeling this. And so I was stoked, dude. And so I got back up and I ran back up the stairs. And by then they were all kind of tripping. They were like couldn't believe that I actually tried it. You know, they were like, whoa, he actually just tried to feeble this rail. This is crazy. And I ran right back up to the top. And then I threw down and went again for round 2. Got into feeble, slipped into board slide, classic mistake, and just kind of went out and just ankles tumbling and twisting down the stairs. And you know, it's all a blur now, but it was just a mess of a fall. Both of my ankles were jacked up. One of my ankle, I couldn't skate for about like 3 weeks after that. I couldn't walk after that.
How did this slam not end up in one of the mystery videos?
I know it didn't end up. They
used to love doing that, like when they're like, local kook tries it, we film it, and we stick it in there.
Right, and they all thought I was from there. Like they all thought I was like the local guy, but I was like, no, I'm just here having lunch with my family randomly in this city. I'm from Michigan. But the only evidence I have of it, and I do have it, is there's a photo of me at the bottom of the stairs with my shoe off, you know, because my foot is hurt, and Jamie Thomas is crouched down next to me holding the camera, and I don't know if any of the other guys are in the shot too, but we're like watching the footage on the camera after it happened at the bottom of the stairs. And I have a black and white photo of, because I think it was on like one of the websites. They posted it up.
I'm just gonna share quickly, like my one of those, like the first time when you go, oh my God, like I'm gonna partake. It was Castle Hill High School in Sydney, Australia, and the Baker crew shows up. It's Dustin, like young Dustin, and Mike Maldonado, and young Evan Hernandez, and young Jeff Lenosi, and I'm young, like I'm like barely a teenager or whatever, but I'm in my Sid Vicious punk stage, and I was like, these are my idol guys, but I'm like, this time I'm gonna do something, because the other times, you know, when you see pros, you kind of go, it's not my time, I'll sit down, kind of thing. So what I did is the kookiest thing of all time, but there's a 13 stair. And I pushed up to it, did the early grab cannonball down the 13, and Dustin was filming me, and I know that feeling of like, this is it, like you gotta do the thing. And even though that was, you know, the most ridiculous trick, it was like, I'm gonna put myself in the game one way or another. And it was an early grab down to 13. And but I got it.
That's a great trick to do with Justin Dolan filming you and the whole Baker team.
Maldonado 180'd over the 13 rail like it was nothing. Evan nollied the 13 like it was nothing. And it was seeing that in the flesh, I was like, this is another level. Like, I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it. On the way out, there was a 10 stair, and Maldonado just like, I think he was like, just super casually, like he was just talking, and he cavemaned the 10 like on his way out. Like it seemed like such a nothing. Yeah, I don't know. It was like the casual. He didn't like walk up and go, "Oh, can I caveman this 10?" He was like, "Yeah." So anyway, and he like caveman the 10, and then like rolls up. He's like, "Where are we gonna hit next?" Kind of thing. It was cool.
Dude, yeah. I mean, you can't forget those memories.
They're transformative.
That memory right there. Yeah, it transformed me.
Yeah, I hope like people are still getting those in the street. Right. You know, I hope that's still a thing.
It's different now.
Yeah.
It is different now because you're connected with these guys. Like a pro skater, you can leave a comment on their video and they'll like respond to you. Like that's
no. Now they probably like Groms less. They're like, just stop harassing me constantly on the internet. Like you had to be able to talk to them. You had to get near them.
But there was
that's probably healthier.
Now you have like access to these pros where like then very pre-social, like there was definitely no social media out there. There was no way of having any kind of connection or contact with these guys, you know, unless you happen to walk up a 21 stair and see them standing there.
I think that created an environment that was more respectful.
Right, perhaps.
I think so. Like the idea that you can just like screw everything this dude's done, just go trash him tonight because you're drunk and you have the internet. Like it's a shit thing. Yeah. And I've been guilty of it too. And I'm like,
you love some social media.
Yeah, but then, you know, you're drunkenly careening across the internet. You're like, I'll do that. And like, there is a culture of like lack of respect.
Yeah, and that's not good.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing we can do. It's too late. What's next? What's the next iteration of skate media after Instagram and iPhone? Where does it go?
Where can it go? What else? What? I mean, we couldn't have conceived of the Instagram thing.
Yeah, so
10
we'll go
years
somewhere we
ago.
can't conceive of, right?
We can't conceive of it. Is it going to be virtual reality skateboarding? Is that going to be the next thing?
See, I think there's a couple things, like the hoverboards are actually never going to work. I'm sorry, I know it's your last name, but you can't really do a trick on a hoverboard.
Like you mean the things that you stand on and like lean on?
I don't know, any kind of, no, I mean like a hovering board.
Actual hovering
The ones we
board?
were supposed to have, that Back to the Future said we were going to have, that we
Yeah.
don't have.
And here we are in the distant future.
They're
still don't
nowhere to
have
be
them.
seen, nowhere
Yeah.
to be seen. And
Yeah,
I
you
don't
wouldn't
know.
be able to do tricks, I don't think, if you had a hoverboard.
No, not at all. It's not that cool.
Yeah, hoverboards are lame.
Yeah, that's why we haven't made them.
Yeah, if they do exist, they're automatically lame.